I've been overweight my entire life, as long as I can remember. Growing up, I was always embarrassed about how I looked, and I was always super self-conscious and always concerned about how others perceive me. I mean, I've grown out of a lot of that, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't have those moments where I really felt uncomfortable in my own skin. As a teenager and then as an adult, I'd lose weight and then I'd gain it back, and then I'd lose it again and then I'd gain it all back and then some. And this had to stop. Nobody ever taught me how to properly lose weight and keep it off. I tried everything: low cal, low carb, high fat, cardio, weights, but I could never keep consistent. And I think that was my biggest issue. And then one day I discovered extended fasting. You know, I've tried and practiced intermittent fasting for years, but my problem was losing control of how much I ate daily. I always just overdid it. That was always my problem. But when I discovered extended fasting, it changed my life. So this whole extended fasting thing started for me back in September of 2019. And this is when I was still living in Southern California. I was out there for work at the time. I didn't really have any friends. I didn't go out much. So I thought I'd give it a shot. Now, at the office that I worked at the time, we had a whiteboard on the wall, and I actually used a huge section of that whiteboard to log my weight, my daily weight. You know, I'm one of those guys that has to weigh daily. It's just, it keeps me accountable. I know that it's not the be all end all measures for weight loss, but for me, it was helpful. But I also used it to log all my fasts and how long my eating windows were. And one of the big reasons that I actually really wanted to start extended fasting was because I had a wedding that I had to go to at the end of November. And I remember counting the days down. I had 78 days. So I told myself, how much weight could I lose in those 78 days? So obviously, this wasn't primarily for health. It was more for, hey, I want to look good in a suit. Let me see how far I can go with this whole extended fasting thing. So yeah, September 12th was the first day I did it. I weighed in at 220.2. And then what I ended up doing is I ended up doing just kind of more intermittent fasting type stuff, but I think they were around 24 to 36 hours, so they were kind of extended, and that's kind of what I started off doing. But as time went on, I was able to push that further and further, and a big reason is because I've been doing intermittent fasting for years. This isn't anything new to me, so doing a 16 is nothing. Doing a 20, 23, I was very used to doing. I was doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. I was doing that for a while, but I wanted to see if I could push it even further, and I was able to do so. Those 24 to 36 hour fasts ended up being 48 or 65, and at one point during those 78 days, I was doing 165 hour fasts, I think. Typically, or basically, I was pretty much just eating once every Saturday. And for anybody who's asking, yes, I was taking electrolyte supplements, I was taking sodium, salt, I was taking magnesium, and I was taking potassium. Those were the three I was using at the time. And I still use them today. Long story short, in those 78 days, I ended up losing 50 pounds. I went from 220 to I think 169, somewhere in the high 160s, but overall I lost about 50 pounds during that time period. After that time, I started to do 65s. I've noticed that 65s kind of keep my weight in check, and then if I want to lose weight, I do 90s. And then what I ended up doing was I was alternating 65s and 90s, and that's actually what I've been doing since, and I've still been losing weight then. So I was in the high 160s after 78 days, right? And to my lowest, because here we are in April now, and the lowest I hit was 152. So I had lost almost 70 pounds at that point, around 68 or 69 pounds. And now I hover somewhere around that range. So the last 2 or 3 weeks have been really tough because of this whole coronavirus pandemic. You know, being quarantined keeps me at home 95, 98, 99% of the day. The gym that I go to is closed. You know, when I first started doing all of this fasting stuff, I I didn't do any exercise at all. When I first started doing it, it was really tough. And that's something that I want to either make a separate video on and share. But I had carb withdrawal, I had caffeine withdrawal. It was not fun. At least for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I wasn't, my body wasn't used to burning fat for energy. Since then, I can go 3-4 days. I can still, well, when the gym was open, I was still lifting, right? At an 80-hour fast, at a 90-hour fast, it was no big deal. And I was lifting pretty much what I lifted even after eating. So that took some time to get accustomed to, but my body's gotten used to it. Right now, I'm at around a 90-hour fast. I went for a 3-mile walk this morning because that's all I'm doing now that I'm quarantined is walking. And I'll be honest with you guys, the first time that like Chicago got quarantined and we weren't able to leave, I kind of stress ate. I really did. I wasn't fasting as long as I typically do because I don't believe in fasting, or I don't believe in eating back-to-back days. I usually put a day at least in between, if not 48 hours. Now there's so much with fasting that I really want to get into, but I want to kind of keep this video as just my introduction to what I'm trying to do, to share my story. And, you know, right now, even though I weigh around 155 to 160, because I've put on a little bit, my lowest was 152, so I put on about 5 or 6 pounds since then, but I've still been able to maintain. But at this point, what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to do back-to-back 90s for the whole month of April and maybe indefinitely until I hit my goal weight. I don't know what that goal weight is. The number isn't really what's important to me. It's how much fat I have left. That's really where I am at this point. Now, I know there's a lot of questions. I'm sure a lot of people who aren't used to fasting are asking, how is that possible? How can you fast that long? It's going to be different for everybody. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that it works for me. I tend to eat a lot when I eat. So for me to be able to do extended fasts gives me the opportunity to eat more and kind of eat what I want. I've done low carb before. I've done low calorie before, low fat or high fat. I've done it all. And I don't like restricting myself when I'm eating because that's how I end up binging. That's how I end up overeating. So what I do now is for me at least, I give myself a switch. Switch on, I eat. And switch off, I'm done eating. And that's typically how I do it. I'll do a 65-hour fast, and then with like an 8-hour eating window or a 6-hour eating window, then a 90-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window, and then repeat until I get to my goal weight. I'm guessing I'm around 20 or 25 pounds where I need to be, but at this point, I've lost a good amount of weight. I wear size small shirts. I wear size 28 pants. I still have a gut, and that's, people ask me like, well, where do you have weight to lose? I still have a weight to lose. I think we're all critics when it comes to our own bodies, but at this point, I've been overweight my entire life. This is the lowest I've been that I can ever remember being my whole life at this weight. And I just want to see how far I can go. I want to see how much I can achieve doing this. Again, this is not for everyone. Do I believe in extended fasting? Yes, I do. Do I think it's for everybody? Maybe not. Everybody's different. Everyone has a different body composition. Everyone has different, hormonal regulations. And I know that this works for me. I do believe that eating multiple times a day, I don't think is beneficial. I think fasting for everybody is beneficial in some way, whether it doesn't have to be 65 or 90 that I'm doing right now, but OMAD I think is really beneficial, doing a 23-hour fast and then eating for that 1-hour window, or even doing 16s at the very least. I mean, that's the recommended, but I always try, when people come to me and ask me, I always try to get them to do 20s or 23s or do 36s and do alternate day fasting, but you got to listen to your body and you got to see what's right for you. Anyway, I'm going to leave that here for now, but if you guys want to go on this journey with me, if you want to talk about fasting or do these fasts with me, please feel free to subscribe to the channel so you can check out what I'm doing. I have different segments planned. I want to show people that you can break a fast and eat pretty much whatever you want and still lose weight if you know how many calories you're putting in and how long you have to fast for to lose weight. Because I think that's a key that a lot of people don't understand. And I want to show people, because I don't eat clean. I really don't. I try to eat clean, but it's not my thing. I have a hard time doing it. Do I need to eat better? Should I eat better? Probably. But as I continue to lose weight, my health is improving. I feel better. I'm able to get out and work out and do things that I haven't been able to do in a long time. That's it. So I should have another video out soon. And it's because I'm breaking my 90-hour fast today, I kind of want to show people what I'm going to be breaking it with, what I eat. And again, it's not going to be clean, but I want to show people that you don't have to be the most fit. You don't have to eat the cleanest to lose weight. I think that's important to know, that we're not perfect, and the food we eat isn't always going to be perfect, and that's okay. And we're going to have ups and downs during this thing, because I have since then, but I think consistency is really the key out of this whole thing.